Hi there and welcome to this 59th live tech Q&A session and this Grand Diwali Mela. If you have noticed, Diwali is just about 3 weeks from now, and I thought that a lot of people buy new gadgets. It's one of the biggest festivals in India. So I thought, why not do this Grand Diwali Mela where you can ask me some tech related questions. I know a lot of you guys might be buying a lot of gadgets so this Diwali season. So you can ask me about it. And if you're new to this Hangouts, you can ask your tech related questions in the YouTube comments below, and I'll take them up during the live session. So let's start. I can already see quite a few questions. So let's start with one and take up this question. What do you say, concise. So let's take the first question, and this is by Kiran, and here it goes. Kiran says, what is the relevance for Android updates if we don't have stock Android devices? That's HTC, Samsung, LG uses their own UI. And do we see much difference from Jelly Bean to KitKat or even Android L on these devices? Do you really think, is there any performance improvement unless you have stock Android? Kiran, a very interesting question, opinion. And yes, if you have a skinned Android interface, like for example HTC, Samsung, etc., they all have their own skins. And I have seen this even when we have major Android updates. For example, from, let's say, from KitKat to Android L, we have seen the leaked images of Samsung. They try to keep the user interface very similar to what they had earlier, but that's how these manufacturers like to do that. Definitely, if you want to get the pure Android experience, then you have the Nexus devices, and on the low cost one, we do have these new Android One devices now. But yes, we do get some benefits. For example, Android L underneath, it offers a lot of improvements. It is 64-bit enabled, so you do get some of the improvement benefits. But yes, in terms of user interface, yes, these manufacturers do skin it a lot like the earlier versions of their UI. So that's how it is. So let me move to the next question. This is a very interesting camera-related question. I never thought that I'll get that. This is by Rajasima Reddy. He says, hey Ranjit, how's your dad's Canon PowerShot SX50HS Mega Zoom camera? Is it really worth buying instead of a DSLR camera? The thing you need to understand is a DSLR and a point and shoot camera is actually very different. Regarding the PowerShot SX50 HS that you're talking about, that camera is a very good camera. It's a mega zoom camera. You have a lot of optical zoom. So for that price, it was around, I don't recall, 25,000 or so. It's a very good camera. The camera quality is also very good. But again, you simply cannot compare it directly to a DSLR. With a DSLR, you can just change the lens, but with that camera, you just can't do that. And with the DSLR, with the appropriate lens, I can definitely get a lot better picture quality. So yes, in terms of picture quality, for what it does, that is mega zoom, that Canon PowerShot SX50HS is a very good camera, and the picture quality is also actually excellent. In fact, I did shoot one video with it. It can record video up to 1080p, and the video quality was also very good. But again, these cameras, sort of a bridge camera, hybrid cameras, are definitely different from the DSLR, because with the DSLR you can actually change the lens. That offers you a lot more flexibility. But again, a DSLR is a lot more expensive compared to camera like that, because you have to buy those separate lenses, and those lenses are pretty expensive. So I hope that helps you. So let me just move to the next question, and this is by Deepan, and it goes by good evening. He says, please help me in choosing a good mid-range Android phone or even a Windows phone around rupees 8,000 to rupees 10,000 with decent camera quality, dual SIM, and good after-sales service and customer support. Apart from Moto E, will the Micromax Canvas A1 would be worth it? So a very nice question. Deepan, the thing is that, yes, I would right now personally, my last about 15 using it. In fact, I also recommended this device to one of my close friends, and he's very happy with it. The performance of this device is very good. The only con is the camera performance is sort of average. Outdoors in natural lighting, it does pretty good. In fact, you can check out my camera review for this device to get a better idea. But apart from the camera, everything else on this device is actually very good. The performance is very good. It's a very fluid device. Everything just device. And again, as it's an Android One device, it will also get the latest Google updates like Android. One second, guys. Looking like I'm having some interruption, so please bear with me. Some internet issues. So anyways, as I was talking, under rupees 10,000 or so, you can definitely look at the Android One devices. They are very good. And also for 10,000 rupees now, you can get the Asus Zenfone 5, which is also a very good phone in my opinion. The performance of that phone was very good. It's a very fluid phone. But the biggest con with the Asus Zenfone 5 was that the battery life with dual SIM was simply not that good. If you use it with 2 SIMs, you have to definitely charge it around almost with medium usage about twice a day. And also the actual speaker output was not that good. But apart from that, even the Asus Zenfone 5 was an excellent choice. So you have the Asus Zenfone 5 and these Android One devices for that price point. I hope it helps you. So let me move to this next question. This is by Pratik. He says, Flipkart reviews for the Redmi 1S are filled with people complaining about heating issues. So what could be the issues? Could it be solved? And also, would you prefer buying Zenfone 4.5-inch variant? Okay, very interesting question. Here I have this Redmi 1S with me. And again, I have used this device on and off for about 20 days. Yes, the phone has heating issues, but with the last update that we got about 8-9 days ago, the heating has been reduced, but still it heats up a lot. Also, the battery life was not that great. And to be very frank, I'm not very impressed with this device. It's a heavy device, and I had a lot of expectations with this device because on paper, the specs are outstanding. One place where I really like this Redmi 1S is the 8-megapixel camera. The 8-megapixel camera on this Redmi 1S is a class apart for a budget device. Nothing can come close to this on at least Android devices at this price point. But overall performance of the Redmi 1S, I was not happy because even the call clarity was simply not good. The call quality is muffled in my opinion. I would rate it anywhere about just 5 out of 10. And many times I had to say to the other party, can you please repeat yourself? Can you please repeat yourself? Which is not a good sign. Also, I had issues with the proximity sensors, etc. So yes, for the specs point of view, it is a very good deal, but in the actual day-to-day performance, I definitely did not like the Redmi 1S. And yes, I prefer these Android One devices over this Redmi 1S. And instead of the Zenfone 4.5, I haven't used the Zenfone 4.5, I have the Zenfone 4. Instead of the Zenfone 4, I would prefer the Android One because I feel that the Android One devices are better than the Zenfone 4, which I again use. In fact, my dad is using the Zenfone 4 because he lost his phone earlier. And he's also not very happy because, again, the speaker output of the Zenfone 4 was not that great. And the battery life is, again, so-so in my opinion. So I hope that helps you. Let me move to the next. This is by, again, a very peculiar question, but I'll take it. It's by Preetu Goswami. He says, are you planning to do any apps and games review? I know it's a bit hard keeping up with everything, but still, it might be a good idea. Yes, it's a good idea, but again, simply speaking, I'm just overwhelmed with the amount of hardware devices that I have to review. I just hardly get any time to review apps and games. Initially, I tried to do that, but I couldn't. I won't promise, but let's see if time permits. I'll try to at least review one or two good apps in a month. I hope that info helps. So let me just move to the next question. Again, I have already answered this question, but again, let's take this up. This is by Vishal, and he is asking us between the Spice Android One Uno or the Redmi 1S, which one to go. Vishal, as I just mentioned earlier, I would definitely go with the Spice Android One device over the Xiaomi Redmi One, because the Xiaomi Redmi One, even after about 25 days of testing and even after the latest software update, it still has a lot of software issues and day-to-day issues. Like for example, when I'm on a call and I just remove the screen doesn't come, I have to hit the power button a couple of times for it to come, and silly issues like that. And it's not just one issue. I have multiple issues with this device, and very small issues which hamper the day-to-day performance for a phone. I hope that info helps. Let me just move to the next question, guys. This is by Gagan, and he says, don't you think the Moto X 2014 is overpriced, as OnePlus One and Xiaomi Mi 4 are coming to India with better battery life, more customizability, plus same specs and cheaper price, as Moto X has only 2300 milliampere battery, which is pretty low. Gagan, you got to understand, this is the Moto X 2014 edition that have been testing now for about 10 odd days, and it has to be one of the best Android smartphones for this year, apart from the battery life. Yes, some of the other flagships have better battery life, but in terms of performance, the performance of this phone is amazing, and it has one function that any other Android phone does not have. For example, it's switched off now, and you can just say the hot keyword and it wakes up and response to you, and you can do a lot of things. In fact, I have actually made a dedicated video regarding some of the special features that this phone has. You should check out that video to appreciate what this phone is. And again, you just cannot compare the Mi's and the OnePlus One with the Tier 1 brand like Motorola. Motorola is a Tier 1 brand and a reputed brand. They have a lot more service centers than the Mi 4 and the OnePlus One. So definitely, yes, it will be priced a lot higher. And I would say, as of now, if you want to go with a Tier 1 device and a good device with good specs, this Moto X is a good device. But yes, I also feel that the 2300 milliampere battery that Motorola has put on that is just okay, nothing great. Yes, it can last for a working day, but if in the morning, if I don't charge it, it's almost dead. So definitely, I would say the battery life is a slight con, but it's not like it does not last for a working day. I hope that info helps you. And it's silly to compare unknown and upcoming brands with established Tier 1 brands. You have to pay a premium for the established Tier 1 brands. I hope that helps you. And this is again an interesting question. This is by Krishnu Singh, and he says, my friend wants to buy a new Android phone up to rupees 14,000. He is confused between the Mi 3 and the Moto G second generation. He is new to Android world, and this is going to be his first smartphone. Which one do you suggest? Okay, both are actually a very good phone, the Moto G2 and the Mi 3. One place where the Moto G2 goes ahead in comparison to the Mi 3 is in build quality. I definitely feel that the build quality of the Moto G2 is superior compared to the Mi 3. And even if the Moto G2 falls down, nothing should happen. But in terms of raw performance, definitely the Mi 3 is a faster device because it has 2 gigs of RAM and it has a superior processor. That's a Snapdragon 800 chipset compared to what the Moto G2 has. That's a Snapdragon 400. So you got to decide. And also one thing is that, again, this Xiaomi Mi 3 is a new brand in India, so they do not have a lot of service centers. So in terms of that, Motorola is a better bet. But again, if your friend wants the fastest phone as of now for the least amount of price, then definitely the Mi 3 wins. So again, you have to decide what is important. I have actually done in-depth reviews for both these devices, so you can check out those video reviews to make an informed decision. I hope that helps you. Let me move to the next one. This is by Venkat. He says, which one to buy, Xperia ZR or the Moto X? Please suggest a phone below 20,000. Except Xiaomi, what difference between 1 GB and 2 GB for medium multitasking? Which brand has the best after-sales service? And is eBay a good shopping site? I would not definitely go to eBay for buying stuff like phones, etc. Rather than that, I would suggest go to Amazon India or Flipkart, because sometimes on eBay, eBay does not directly sell these. There are sellers, so they do sometimes sell you refurbished stuff and like that. I've heard stories like that. So definitely online buying, Flipkart or Amazon.in, Snapdeal, these are better ones. I would go with Flipkart and Amazon in my personal opinion. And regarding Xperia ZR or the Moto X, I would definitely go with the Moto X because the screen quality on the ZR is not that great. The battery life also was not that stellar when I tested the Xperia ZR. Also, in terms of camera department, Xperia ZR camera was so-so. So overall, between those two devices, I would still recommend the Moto X first generation. I hope that helps you. Let me just give me a second, guys. Let me just okay. This is by again related to Moto X new generation 1, and it goes. This is by Shantam. He says, "Sir, is the Moto X? I think so. He's talking about 2014 camera quality good or is just average? Second, does the battery on the Moto X last for the entire day?" Yes, in terms of camera, yes, it is improved over the last generation. But again, if you compare it with some of the other flagship Android phones, like for example, let's even take the example of LG G3, which also has a 13 megapixel camera, and the new Moto X 2013, what I have, also has a 13 megapixel camera. But I felt that in outdoor conditions, yes, the photographs it can take are pretty good. But in indoor conditions and artificial light, definitely I would prefer the camera of the LG G3 over the Moto X 13 megapixel camera. It's not like it's bad, but again, you just can't compare it to some of the flagship Android devices. And I will soon post a camera review regarding this Moto X second generation, and I'll in fact include a lot of pictures in varying light conditions in that video review. So I'll just post it in the next couple of days, so just check out my channel for that. Let me just move to the next one. Again, some of you are asking about Moto X second generation. I've already spoken a lot about it, so again, won't take that similar question. This is by Rohit. He says, please tell me your views on the new iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Discuss about the issues like bend gate and hair gate. Okay, I haven't actually tested the or handle. I just took it 6 Plus. I did not use it a lot. Yes, I did use the iPhone 6 for about 2.5 days. Definitely the 6 Plus is huge. Before buying it, definitely go to a store and handle it. I felt that it was just oversized. Even though I use a phone like LG G3, then also I felt that it was simply oversized. So that's one thing with the iPhone 6 Plus. In fact, I felt that the new iPhones, the 6 and the 6 Plus, are very slippery due to that rounded corners. So if I would buy it, I will definitely put a case on it. And regarding the bend gate issues, I'm like clueless about it. I don't think so. In normal usage, they should bend. But yes, if you apply the pressure, it's bending, and we have tons of videos about it. Hair gate, again, I don't know. I don't have that long hair. I used the iPhone 6, as I told you, for about 2.5 days. I did not have any issues of that hair gate issue. And yes, this iPhone 6 and 6 Plus is going to launch soon. I think it's October 18th in India. So let's take up the next question. Give me a second, guys. This is by AI Tech again. This is by Mayur. He says, "Happy Dashera and Diwali." Again, Happy Dashera and Diwali to you, Mayur. First question. This is a very silly question. You are so popular on YouTube. Please give tips to be popular on YouTube. Oh, actually, Mayur, I'm not very popular on YouTube. I'm hardly popular on YouTube. There are a lot of other YouTubers who are a lot more popular than me, in my opinion. And let me take your second question. Actually, he says, "Is the Spice Dream Uno a good buy for 5,499?" Yes, I feel that for 5,500, the Spice Dream Uno, that's the Android One device, is a very good device. The only con that I had with this phone is the camera is very average on this device. Apart from that, the overall performance is simply very good, and I couldn't believe the actual performance this device gives. So very good device for 5,500 price point. Let me just take up the questions now again, guys. Give me a second. I have tons and tons of questions. So just give me a second. Let YouTube refresh it. And again, guys, if you are on Twitter also, you can follow me on Twitter at Geekyranjit. And if you have any tech, what do you say, buying, you're confused between one or two smartphones, XYZ or something, or gadget, you can also post about that on Twitter at Geekyranjit and use the hashtag Grand Diwali Mela. And randomly, I will answer some of the questions going forward till Diwali time. So let me just take the questions 1 second. This is by Toxic Alien. Very interesting name. He says, can you suggest me the best phone among these, LG G2 or the Moto X second generation versus Nexus 5? My budget is below rupees 35,000. I would not suggest you the Nexus 5 at this point, Toxic Alien. And between the LG G2 and the Moto X second generation, I would personally say that the Moto X second generation is better. But one place where the LG G2 I feel is better compared to this Moto X second generation is in terms of battery life. In terms of battery life, the LG G2 has far much better battery life compared to the Moto X second generation. But again, Moto X second generation battery life is not very bad. Its battery life is definitely better than the Nexus 5. So in my vote, the Moto X2 would be my choice. But again, even the LG G2 is also a decent phone. But now it is slightly outdated. It's running the Snapdragon 800 chipset, which is kind of almost over a year old. So let me move to the next questions. Oh, 1 second, guys. This is a question by Manoj, and he says he's currently using the Nokia Lumia 720. And he says he's happy with it. Now the Lumia 730 is coming with a few updates. Should I buy it or stick with my current phone? Manoj, this is a classic question that I get with a lot of people. You already have one generation of the phone and the new one launches. That's how our market evolves. Every year we get a new model. But I would seriously say that if you're already very happy with that phone, there is no point upgrading, because the actual upgrade is the actual performance upgrades that you get with these is very minor. Even the camera on this Lumia 725 recall was pretty good. So unless you have the budget, if you definitely have the budget for it, go for it. But if you don't have the budget and you are just stretching, then I would not suggest, because as you said, you are already happy with the Lumia 720. I hope that info helps you. Let me just this is by Gulwant Gill. He says, will you be reviewing the Intex Aqua 4X? Sorry, but I won't be reviewing that. Please try to understand that I just cannot review almost all devices that come out. In fact, I just review about 25% of the devices that come out, below 25%, because two things are there. First is the budget. I don't have the budget to get all the phones, and second is the time constraint. So sadly, I won't be testing that device. Let me move to the next question. This is by Siddharth, a very interesting question. He says, I'm getting the Moto X first generation for rupees 18,000 and Nexus 5 for 21,000. Should I go for them or should I buy the Mi 3? If you were me, what you would have done? Okay, so yes, I could get the Moto X for 18,000, Nexus 5 for 21,000. And between the three, the Mi 3, I would actually go with the Mi 3. The simple reason for that is the battery life of the Xiaomi Mi 3 is much better compared to the Nexus 5 as well as the Moto X. And it's sort of a fluid device. The only reason I might go for the Nexus 5 is for fast Android updates. But if that's not the highest criteria, definitely I'll go with the Mi 3, because even in the camera department, the camera is better of the Mi 3 compared to those two other devices. So I hope that info helps you. This is Manan for Tech. He says, which one would you prefer? Apple iPhone 6 versus HTC One M8? No specific demands and platform. All opinion depends on you. A very peculiar question. Manan, I would say I have used the iPhone 6. The only criteria I would go for the iPhone 6 over the HTC One M8 is the camera performance, because in the camera performance it's definitely better than the HTC One M8. But if camera is not the highest criteria, I would definitely go with the HTC One M8, because I used the iPhone 6 for about 2.5 days, and to be very frank, I was not thoroughly impressed. Yes, it's a great phone, but I just didn't like the rounded corners. It's just very slippery. In fact, the HTC One M8 felt a lot better. So that's my personal opinion. But again, both of those are great phones. But definitely in terms of camera, the iPhone 6 has a better camera compared to the HTC One M8. Dheeraj is asking me, when would I be doing the in-depth review for the Spice Dream Uno Android one? Yes, guys, I would be posting in-depth reviews this week. It's been a hectic, crazy for the last 10 days. And yes, I know the reviews for these devices, that's the Redmi 1S and the Spice Dream Uno, are pending. So yes, I will try to post the full reviews of these devices this week, and followed by, after that, I'll also post reviews for this Moto X. And if you guys would like, I just got this Nokia Lumia 1020 via that Flipkart deal at a great price. If you guys would like, I do a camera review or something like that, do let me know. I can also do that. Let me just move to the next question. This is by Raman, and this is a very interesting question. He says, I use my phone for a full day and sometimes play heavy games like Asphalt 8. Should I go with the new Moto G or the Zenfone 5? Which one has better value for money? Regarding value for money, I would say the new Moto G is better built in build quality. It feels much more substantial. But even in terms of performance, the Zenfone 5 was pretty good. And in fact, in terms of raw performance, I feel that the Zenfone 5 was better compared to the new Moto G, just due to the fact that the Zenfone 5 has 2 gigs of RAM. Hence, while doing heavy multitasking, the Zenfone 5 performed slightly better. With the Moto G, with heavy multitasking, when I was switching between the apps, etc., sometimes it used to take about half a second or so. And whenever I used to come back to the home screen after heavily using the phone, it used to take about a second or so. Those issues were not there with the Zenfone 5. But again, as you told that you'll be using the phone for a full day with heavy usage, then I would say that you might not like the Zenfone 5, because the battery life on the Zenfone 5 is simply not as good as the new Moto G. Yes, with a casual usage kind of a scenario, the Zenfone 5 would perform well, but with heavy use case scenario, you would have to definitely top it up in the evenings. So I hope that info helps you. Let me just move to the next question. This is by Piggy Vaha, and he says, please tell what were you able to buy from Flipkart sale and your thoughts about it. Yes, this Flipkart had that mega sale just yesterday. That's October 6th. And yes, I did purchase some things, some minor things like memory cards, etc. I got good deals for it. Purchased 116 gig, 32 gig. And the biggest purchase I did was this Nokia Lumia 1020. It was listed for 20,000, but just for about 4 or 5 minutes, the price came down to 14,000, and I was able to grab it for 14,000. And I do feel that for the 14,000 price, this is an excellent deal. I heard that some people were able to buy even iPhone 5s for a good price, but that sale is now over. But again, don't get disappointed, guys. The Amazon India is also going to do a sale on 10th of October. So just look out. I'm hoping that we might also get some good deals there also. But again, these deals are there just for a couple of minutes. I also was not able to get one good deal that just vanished. I just put it on the card, but I wanted to check out, it was not there. So you have to be quick regarding these deals. And I hope that some of you who are looking for new smartphones might be able to grab it on the Amazon sale that is happening on 10th of October. This is by Bhuvnesh. He says, will you be reviewing the Samsung Galaxy Alpha? Yes, I'll definitely try to review it. No promises, but yes, I'll try to do that. Let me. This is by Ashish Kumar. He says, Moto X 2014 or iPhone 5s. And he continues, I'll give my opinion later on. Does the iPhone 5s is worth adding 2000 rupees extra? I'm confused between iOS and Android devices. What do you think? Also, Apple has also started with big screen phones like 6 and 6 Plus. Is the Moto X worth it? I would definitely say that, as you have told yourself, you are confused between iOS and Android. So first decide what platform you want to be. If it's iOS, definitely it's the iPhone 5s. And if it's Android, certainly this Moto X 2014 is a great phone. And it has some very unique features, like you don't even have to touch the phone. You might be like 10 feet away from the phone. Then also you can wake it up and get things done. So that is very unique, and it works actually pretty well. So I would suggest that you check out actually one video I posted about the unique, touchless and the voice features found on the new Moto X. But definitely the iPhone 5s is also a great phone. I had the iPhone 5s and I used it for about 2 odd months and I loved it. Only reason that I gave up with the iPhone 5s was that it has that 4-inch screen, which was kind of small for me because I'm used to largest screen size phones because I have been using Android phones for a long time. But if you are okay with that 4-inch screen, then definitely the iPhone 5s is still a very good phone. So both these phones, the Moto X and the iPhone 5s, are great phones. So it comes down to your personal preferences, in my opinion. And in terms of battery life also, both are very similar. Can get about 1 day's worth of battery life with normal usage. But yes, you simply can't get 2 days worth of battery life on both these devices. So again, you got to decide. Both are great phones. This is by Vijay Yadav. He says, hi Ranjit, the Xperia Z3 or the LG G3. He says, I've made up my mind for the G3. Please share your opinions. In fact, Xperia Z3 and LG G3 are both flagship devices. In terms of the processor, they have the same processor. I would personally go with I used the Xperia Z3 for the last couple of days. I would personally go with the LG G3. The camera is in fact better on the Xperia Z3 in my personal opinion. The pictures had a lot more detail compared to the LG G3, but not by a huge margin. And I'll actually post a camera review of the Xperia Z3 very soon. The reason I would go with the G3 is solely due to the reason that I use my camera a lot on my phones, and I use that outdoors. If you have seen my camera reviews, I do take a lot of photographs of my garden outdoors. And the Xperia Z3, 3 days I tested it, and 3 days I got that camera overheating issues problem. And also in gaming, if you have seen my gaming review with the Xperia Z3, it does tend to heat up very well. These are the two only flaws that I had with the Xperia Z3. Apart from that, the Xperia Z3 in normal operations is a lot more fluid compared to the LG G3. Sometimes with the LG G3, I do see minor lags here and there, but that was simply not there on the Xperia Z3. Also in terms of battery life, I would say the Xperia Z3 is among one of the best Android phones that I've tested in terms of battery life. The battery life was fabulous. So again, both are good phones, but I just highlighted some of the flaws that are there with the Xperia Z3. So, and if those flaws do not affect you, you can go with the Xperia Z3, else you have the LG G3. Another good thing I like about the LG G3 that is sold in India is that it has wireless Qi charging built in. I like wireless Qi charging, so I just prefer this one. But again, both are good phones, but there are some heating issues with the Xperia Z3. Sorry guys, give me a second. This question, this is by Kushal, and he says, tell me which one is better, the Galaxy Grand 2 or the Moto G2? Kushal, I would go with the, Moto G2 rather than the Grand 2, because Grand 2 is now almost a year old. The new version of Grand should come out very soon. And generally, Samsung is not that aggressive when it comes to Android updates. So I'm not very sure if the Grand 2 will get the Android L update. But whereas Motorola has already promised us that the Moto G2 would get the Android L update. And now even the Moto G2 has a 5-inch screen and has that front-firing speaker. So it's a pretty good phone. In fact, just check out my Moto G2 video review. I have already posted it. Okay, this is by Nitesh. He says, which phone camera is good, Redmi 1S or the Android one? Please answer. Definitely, Nitesh, the camera performance on the Redmi one is much better than the Android one devices. The 8-megapixel camera on this Redmi one is just amazing. In fact, you should check out the video review that I did regarding the camera review that I did for this Redmi 1S. I've already posted that video. You can check out that. The camera performance is outstanding on the Redmi 1S. That's one of the, highlighting factors of this Redmi 1S. That is the camera. Let me move to the next one. Some of you are asking me about the launch dates of OnePlus One. Again, guys, I don't know because OnePlus One hasn't actually officially announced any date. There are just rumors flying around that it might launch by the end of 2014. But officially, they haven't announced any date. Let me just move to the next question, guys. And this is by Rahul. He's asking about the battery backup of the Xiaomi Redmi 1S. I would say I was not very impressed with the Xiaomi Redmi 1S battery life. Yes, it can last you for one working day with single SIM. But compared to other phones in that price bracket, definitely the Moto E had better battery life. So the battery life is just so-so on the Redmi 1S. In fact, I had mixed reactions with the battery life on the Redmi 1S. With Wi-Fi only, when I was keeping on Wi-Fi, the battery life was good. But when I was just using the 3G connection, over 3G connection, the battery life was simply not good on the Redmi 1S. And in fact, I felt that the Android One, was that Spice Android One device, gets better battery life compared to the Redmi 1S over 3G connection. I hope that info helps. Oops. Some of you are asking me to do the review for the Lumia 1020's camera. Definitely, guys, I'll do that. In fact, what I'll do is I'll be posting the camera review for the Xperia Z3 and even the iPhone 6, and I'll compare them. I'll take some similar shots with this Lumia 1020 so that we can compare, and I'll also take it with the LG G3 so you guys can judge which one is better for yourself. Let me just give a second, guys. Let me just let me refresh, guys. It's not refreshing automatically for some reason, the comments. Oops. This is by Vignesh. He says, is the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 Neo a good buy at its price has come down to around 23,000? Vignesh, yes. For that price point of around 23,000, I do feel, yes, the Note 3 Neo is a pretty good device at that price point. You can actually check out the full review. I have already posted the full review for this device. The only reason I did not recommend the Galaxy Note 3 Neo in that video review I did was the reason that at the time when I did that review, I think so it was selling for around 36 or 37,000. And I did not feel that at that 36,000 or 37,000 price point, it was a good device. But definitely at the 23,000 price point, it's a very good device. Jay is asking us, is it a good idea to buy the iPhone 5s now? Yes, Jay, it's still a very good, still the iPhone 5s is a very good device. And if you're getting a good deal for the iPhone 5s, go for it. And again, I would suggest that, guys, on Amazon India, that is Amazon.in, they are having a sale on October 10th. So look out for deals. You might be able to grab some good smartphones, etc. for a steal price. This is by Vikrant. He says, is there a problem if your Wi-Fi router is on all day? No, Vikrant, there is no issues. In fact, my Wi-Fi router is switched on all the time, 24/7. It's in fact connected to UPS, so it's never shut off. So there is no issue with that. Wi-Fi routers can be switched on all the time. This is by Yogesh. Let's take this question. He is asking us, which one is better, Moto E or Android One phones? Can you make a video comparing the two? I don't think so. I'll make a dedicated video about it, Yogesh, but I'll just tell you my opinion. Between the Moto E and the Android One phones, in terms of battery life, I feel that the Moto E is better. But in terms of actual cellular call quality, I feel the Android One phones are better than Moto E. The call quality that I'm getting on these Spice Android One devices, for example, the Android One devices, the one I'm testing is the Spice One, was excellent. So if you talk a lot on the phone, definitely the Android One phones are better. Also in gaming, I feel the Android One devices perform a lot better. And in fact, you can just put in a micro SD card on these Android One devices, and you can install a lot of apps and games. And most of them, I would say, do install directly on the SD card. So you do get a lot of storage. The storage is a big issue with the Moto E. You have very limited storage on the Moto E. If I recall, you just get about 1.5 gigs or so. So if you install a lot of apps and games, then the internal storage might be an issue on the Moto E. So in my opinion, and also the camera is better on this Android One devices compared to the camera that we are getting on the Moto E. So definitely, in my opinion, the Android One devices are better bet than the Moto E. So again, guys, it's been over 40 minutes now. So I will be ending this session. Again, remember that we do this every week on Tuesday. And again, I'll be doing this next week also. And we'll be continuing with this grand Diwali Mela. And I might do a special edition about some time with one more tech YouTuber so that we can answer a lot more questions. So it's a good idea to keep following me on Twitter. That is at the rate Geekyranjit. And if you again have some questions, you can post it on Twitter and just tag it by the name Grand Diwali Mela. So thank you guys for joining me on this 59th live tech Q&A session again. And I hope that you'll be able to join me next week also. Thank you. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.